Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Sorry if the light is a little orange right now. I'm still having to deal with like the lighting issues in my room, but it's okay. I'm also like too lazy to get up and change the light bulb. So I'm kind of just waiting for my fiance to do it. I know that's not right, but that's just what I do. But welcome. If it's your first time, hi, my name is Madison. I do tarot and oracle readings, and I also implement some astrology as well in my readings. And today we'll be covering the full moon in Pisces. It's going to be on September 1st, which is a Wednesday. I'll be traveling that day, which is honestly a little weird because I'm not really huge on traveling. I hate it. But I'm going to go see a family member that I haven't seen in a few years, so that'll be kind of nice. What we normally do for these videos is I will read notes that I took for the full moon in Pisces up front. I didn't take a whole bunch of notes because I actually need to get some work done today, so I'm just kind of going to record actually a shorter video than I normally do. So it'll be a few notes, then we'll kind of just talk about stuff, and then I'll start pulling cards to give us kind of an idea of what type of stuff we should add into our rituals, and just the messages that Spirit is trying to communicate with us during this time. So that's kind of how these videos go. If you'd like to skip ahead because you don't like the notes, you can go ahead. I'll have that stuff down in the comments below because I know a lot of people just like the reading part, and that's totally fine. And then other people love, the notes. So we'll just go ahead and see what happens. So let's get started. Okay, during the full moon in Pisces, we will be extremely sensitive, but also really perceptive. So that can be kind of confusing in a way because it's kind of like you'll be perceiving that other people's microaggressions and stuff, but you might not really tell yourself inside your head that their microaggressions actually might be about something else. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. And try not to be overly passive. We're going to have this kind of feeling inside to kind of just let things go, or to not really take an effort to do anything, and stuff like that. We're kind of wanting things to come to us. And for a lot of you guys, if you watched my Virgo season video, I did talk about how some of you guys with Pisces placements are probably going to have to struggle a little bit more. And that will be that's just something to kind of mention again. So if you have a Pisces sun, Pisces moon, or Pisces rising, that's in your top 3, it could be for your other inner planets too. Just go ahead and look at your chart and figure it out. But in that area of your life, that's a part of your life where you're just more of really passive. So for that big 3, that has to do a lot with your personality, right? So the reason I'm mentioning it is because I feel for a lot of you guys, it is some time and effort you need to put in to actually communicate with people what's going on. How I was saying about being perceptive. For a lot of people with Pisces placements, they're extremely perceptive of other people and their microaggressions, but they internalize all of it. They can tell that someone's upset, and they're just going to make the assumption that that person's upset with them. And then they're going to withdraw and not be emotionally present and do all this stuff and get caught in their head with this imaginary stuff that's hurting their relationship. So during this time, Pisces people, you need to be extra careful about how this is going to affect you. I worry about you Pisces people. But yeah, so another thing too is don't just wait around for things to happen. If you want something to happen, you have to put effort into it, right? I mean, there's a big part of letting something go so the universe can bring it back to you. And sure, that's correct, and that's the right way to manifest something. But you also can't sit around and just not do anything, not make any steps and just be all wow, why isn't it happening for me? You have to be the one to go do it, and try to not live in a daydream world. Try to make your dreams a reality. And a lot of us will be suffering with that during the full moon, so keep that in mind. Okay, another thing too is a lot of us will be focusing way more on our insecurities. So try not to let them get to you. We all have insecurities. We all have things that are not the best about ourselves. That's why there's a shadow self. That's why there's something called shadow work, inner child work, all these things. We have developed these over time to protect ourselves, right? So it is certain times we have to really go through that stuff, you really have to figure out what it is about yourself that might be off-putting to other people or something like that, and work through it, and yeah, for a lot of you guys, I feel you'll be getting down on yourself a little bit more, feeling you're not really worthy of love or good relationships or things like that. So try to keep that in mind. Something good to do in the meantime will be to embrace spirituality and creativity. You will do well if you embrace these two things during this time, because Pisces energy is about daydreams, and it is about intuition and feeling things intuitively and letting your intuition lead you. And your imagination will be like so much stronger, so you'll be able to actually pick up creative projects and do creative things and work on your spirituality, so it'll be a really good time for that. And one more thing too is you might be feeling a little disappointed. You have to remember though that you have to take action. You know, like I'm just getting that again. You have to take action. And you might be feeling disappointed because things aren't happening the way that you want them to happen, or they're not coming as quickly as you want them to. And remember, the full moon is about submitting yourself to the divine, right? So we can't control exactly what happens, when it happens, and things like that. So we really have to like release that stuff. So try not to let like you have been putting hard work into stuff and you're not getting the rewards yet. Try not to like let that pull you down or hurt you very much. You know what I mean? Like just kind of like open yourself up to creativity and spirituality. It's crazy too, because that's actually a lot of the clients I've been doing lately, that's kind of the messages that keep popping up, is like embracing creativity, bringing passion into your life, embracing spirituality, doing shadow work, stuff like that. So I feel like that's what a lot of us are going through with the collective. So let's move on to the cards. I'll just kind of draw and put cards out, and we'll just kind of like talk and figure out exactly what spirit is wanting to, you know, communicate with us right now. So we'll go ahead with that. I also want to let some of you guys know that I will be creating a blog post for all this information, and there will be journal prompts as well, so you can kind of add that to your ritual if you enjoy writing for your rituals and journaling and stuff like that. So I'm going to like create a blog post, and I might post this video before creating the blog post. We'll just see what my schedule looks like, because I am leaving town, so it's just going to kind of depend on where I can make time between like working and making sure stuff is covered before I leave town. So, but it'll come out, you know. I didn't do a blog post for Virgo season, and I probably won't for the September 2020 predictions, but that's okay. Stuff happens. But I will have one for this video, so look out for it. Go to it on the full moon and totally do like the journal prompts and let them lead you through your rituals, if that makes sense. So cool. Okay, I've pulled a few cards from my basic astro deck. I'm still working on this, by the way, if anybody's wondering about it. I'm still writing the guidebook, and I also got some new cards that are going to be a little smaller, so I'm going to look at those, use those. I added like aspects as well to the deck, so you guys will see a little bit more of that whenever I get it, and as I get closer through finishing up the guidebook and getting a physical copy of that, you guys will get in for more information about that as well. So, but let's focus on this for right now. Just kind of want to let you guys know in case anyone was wondering. Okay, so we have the moon here. So it's time for you to start focusing, definitely I was saying earlier about your emotions, and then also your private self. So who you are whenever you're alone. That's going to be something to focus on. I have Scorpio here too. And Scorpio is about diving deep and going dark. You know, Scorpios are all about death and transformation, and they learn something new each time. You know, they're meant to, in this world, embrace their shadow. So that's another kind of like confirmation that we're meant to do shadow work right now. Because, yeah, that's kind of like, I mean, if any of you guys know any Scorpios, I have it in my chart too, so like no judgment, but a lot of Scorpios, like they have a big thing about like revenge and betrayal and making sure that people know that they can't mess with them or get one on them or whatever. And this ends up being something limiting for Scorpios, because they realize at some point that they don't really have a lot of close friendships or close relationships. And they're like, but those people always betrayed me. But it's like, in a way, you have to do the work, the shadow work, to figure out what exactly you're doing. It's not necessarily that you're making them betray you. It's that you're choosing people who show these red flags, and you're expecting yourself to be good enough for them to change. You know, that's like a big Scorpio thing, is like definitely like being attracted to someone who's mysterious. But many times whenever people are mysterious, it's because they're hiding something. And then that person wants the Scorpio wants them to open up more. So then they're creating this dynamic of like a relationship with somebody who is showing them the type of person they are, but the Scorpio is expecting them to change, you know? And so that creates a lot of like internal pain, so they have to eventually do the work to realize like, oh, I'm the one attracting that. I'm the one expecting people to go through hoops for me, you know, because Scorpios are really big on betrayal too. They constantly want you to prove to them that you're not going to betray them by putting you through trials and errors, you know? And that's kind of just not really a way to treat a person. So that's something for, if any of you guys feel like that resonates with you, then that is some shadow work you should do at this point, like with relationships, and asking yourself, like, where am I playing the role here? Like, what am I doing that's creating these relationships that aren't serving me over and over and over again? We also have Capricorn here. A lot of Capricorns are getting called out right now. But this card is all about, like, you know, you see cardinal energy, so it's about starting forward. We have a lot of feminine energy right in front of me because we have the moon, Scorpio, and Capricorn. They're all feminine. And I think the Capricorn is a little bit more about like being grounded. I think the reason it's here is about being grounded. Okay, so we were talking about how the full moon in Pisces, you're going to be kind of like daydream like not really living in this reality. And I think Capricorn is like it's telling you to come back down to reality and think about things in a practical way. If we know Capricorns, we know that they double check everything. They're not going to get screwed over. It's unlike the Scorpio that will like purposefully choose somebody who is showing red flags and then expect them to not show red flags. A Capricorn, whenever they immediately see the red flag, they already have a comment about it. They're already going to do something about it. They're already like are prepared to walk away, you know? So Capricorns do have a little bit more defenses that are working with them, if that makes sense. And then I have North Node here. So karma and life lessons for you guys. It'll be important for you right now to look up what your North Node is so that you have an idea of what lessons you're meant to be learning, because whenever you actually go with your North Node, whenever you go with the lessons you're meant to learn, you're going with the flow of life. And a lot of us, I mean, we're attracted to our South Node, you know, we're also attracted to our descendant sign as well. So we're attracted to kind of like the opposite of what we're meant to learn in this life. It's like a funny trick that the universe pulls on us. So look at what your North Node is, and you'll actually find that like, oh, I did keep being in the same situation over and over again. And it's because you were expecting things to happen the way that your South Node makes them happen, you know? Because in your past life, you lived your life that way. I'll give you an example. My North Node is in Scorpio. So in this life, I'm meant to dive deep, do shadow work, talk about the dark, bring light to things that are dark, you know? And like changing a lot, shifting, adapting, letting people go who show these big red flags. And the way I was living my life before I knew any of this information and I was meeting resistance over and over and over again, was I was looking for as much stability as possible. I was looking for friendships that seemed stable and like not much was going to happen, you know? I was expecting to get a good solid job and just work there, you know, and all these things that just kept like not happening for me. They kept not working. Even my body isn't really dependable. I have a lot of chronic illnesses. So it's like I'm meant to embrace all of these things about myself because they're all dark subjects. Literally, sometimes I just talk about one of my chronic illnesses to somebody, and they'll tell me that it's sad, you know, or they'll tell me that I'm being negative. And I'm like, I don't perceive my life that way. I don't able body myself. I can see that like I'm limited in these ways, but I can still have a fulfilling life, you know? So that's just something to kind of think about, is like, if you're meeting resistance over and over and over again, maybe look at your North Node and figure out if you're actually like being drawn to your South Node, you know? My sun sign is Taurus and my South Node is Taurus. So it makes sense too with the personality that I have that I would be drawn to my South Node. You know what I mean? So that's a lot of internal conflicts that I have in my chart. So you got to look at your chart to figure out what exactly your internal conflicts are, or where you are blessed and you are able to kind of like go with the path of life. So just figure it out and look at your chart. Okay, I picked a few cards from the Shine from the Inside Oracle deck, and we have Breathe in Bliss, Exhale Bullshit. And what I get from this is that like the bullshit is the negative stuff, which is so true. Like, yes, you should embrace your shadow self, but also the conditioning you have about yourself comes from other people. So it is kind of like to embrace your true self is to also look at the negative parts of yourself and kind of like work through it and realize that the negative things that people have told you about yourself aren't true. So that's the bullshit that you would kind of let go of. And then you breathe in the idea of like, my true self is somebody who is worth loving, and I am worth loving the way that I am, you know? And you can also love yourself, you know? We take that for granted so much. We feel like we need approval from others to feel like our existence means anything, but like that's not true. You can love yourself. And that love does start within, because once you're able to really love yourself, then you'll find other people who love you too, because you're not going to accept less than treatment, you know? If you have an idea of yourself that you're like this certain person, and then you meet people who see that negativity in you as well, and they reaffirm it to you, you're like, oh, this person knows me. But really, they don't know you. They understand your conditioning. So you're going to kind of be with people who continue to reaffirm to you over and over again that your conditioning and what your negative parts of yourself is who you are, and that's not true. That's not who you are. So that's something to keep in mind. We have journal it out. Write how you feel. Writing is communicating. Journaling is communicating with yourself, like on a level that like isn't possible with other people, because you can say things in your journal that you can't tell other people. You can talk about the same thing over and over and over again, and nobody's going to judge you. It's in your own journal. I actually was able to use my journal to figure out that I was in an abusive, not romantic relationship, but I was living in an abusive environment. And the way I was able to figure that out was because in an 8-month period, I wrote basically the exact same feelings. Like in February, I wrote about feeling the specific way, and then again in October, I had written about feeling the exact same way. And when I found my old journal, I was like reading through it, and I saw it was like word for word, and then I went and opened my new one and looked at them, and that was whenever it confirmed to me, okay, things aren't changing. Because it was difficult with that person because they kept promising they were going to change, and I kept believing them and giving them chances and chances and chances. And having that right there in front of me was confirmation, I feel like, from the universe that like this is not going to change. And as much as it hurts me to let this person go, I don't have another choice. I've gone above and beyond, 8 months of giving someone a chance, more and more chances every single day, and it's just the same thing every single day. You've done more than enough. And I know that other people have been in this situation before too, where you keep forgiving people, especially family members. So it's like at some point you cut that off. And journaling can help you so much with it, like explaining that stuff. Because also if you don't journal and you go to people with your problems consistently, you're looking for external validation. And that's not what you need. You don't need external validation to get through your problems. You need to figure out deep inside your internal self what you need. You need to soothe yourself. You need to figure out what exactly it is that is missing from your life. And then that's whenever you do the work to start bringing in new things, stop accepting bad treatment, like all these different things that will be helpful for you. Okay? So try to start journaling. It doesn't have to be super consistent. It could be once a week. It can be only when you feel something powerfully, It can just be something like that, but it's communication with yourself that is vital and important. Okay, and then we have get back to nature and reconnect with your hippie roots. Okay, so it's starting to get a little less hot, right, guys? I know for some of us, though, there's a lot of mosquitoes, so, get your off prepared. But we should try to start going outside a little bit more. Maybe our full moon in Pisces ritual. Ooh, I'll be with my sister, so that'll be really nice. Because maybe we could just go do something outside together. She was talking about going to the lake or something. So maybe we'll do something like that. But reconnect with your hippie roots, so go out in nature, look around at greenery, make sure you're around greenery, or water. And take your shoes off, put your feet directly in the grass, whatever it is that it takes. If you are into plants, like keep doing your gardening thing. I'm so jealous, by the way. I want to be good at plants and I'm not. But yeah, just like get reconnected. And if you journaled during this time too, it would be even better. Many people have spiritual awakenings or spiritual breakthroughs whenever they are out in nature, and you don't have to take psychedelics to get there. You can just be out there looking around, wandering around, feeling yourself, no music, you know what I mean? Like just feeling the nature and the universe and letting your thoughts come and go in a meditative way where you're not controlling it or trying to control it. You're just letting thoughts come and go without analyzing it. And for many of us, we can have spiritual breakthroughs at that time. So try to add that in, see what happens. Your intuition will be very strong. So, allow yourself to speak to yourself. Okay, these are the final cards I'm going to do, but it's the Kawaii Tarot deck, so we're going to have a little bit of a tarot reading here. Also, what's in front of me is all white and pink and pretty girly colors, and I love it. I'm way more girly than people usually think that I am at first. Okay, so definitely what I have in front of me is that for a lot of you guys during this time, you're going to feel really, really busy and overwhelmed. So it's going to be important for you to do that journaling and that going out into nature to ground yourself, because you're going to be feeling so overwhelmed with everything. And through journaling and like kind of like accepting yourself and doing that work and you know, drawing boundaries and stuff like that, that's going to ignite some type of like creativity for you, some type of like feeling like there's a purpose. And I'm getting the message too that these feelings that you're going to be having are going to help like bring new success into your life. Like you're going to be gaining new things, so you're going to get an idea of how to kind of like start creating more stability in your life. This could have to do with health, just your home environment, or like your finances. But I can see too that you're going to be kind of like saving and stuff. Like you're not going to want to let go of your money. And that's okay in a lot of situations, because sometimes we can't control it, right? Sometimes we just don't have money. But don't be so afraid to spend money that you are not getting your own basic resources and, you know, things like that, because money is also something that comes and goes. So if you like hold on to it, the universe eventually will force you to be in a situation where it takes from you. So that's why money kind of has to be like free flowing, like you give and you take, you know. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but if you donate, like you don't have much money, but you donate like $10, you end up getting $20 somehow, you know. So it's kind of like that type of idea where if you don't have it, you don't have it, you know. But just try your best to kind of like create this idea that there's a give and take, and that there will be an opportunity that will come up for you where you can gain more success and stability. I also have too, for some of you guys, that you don't feel like there's a really solid foundation for yourself, and that's totally fine with the economy going on. Like you're not alone. I feel the same, you know. So this time period for you where there's not much foundation, it's going to be okay. So just try to do like the internal work right now, because literally it's the only thing you can control. You can't control external forces, you know. You can't control other people. So it'll be important for you to kind of like just focus on yourself, focus on going towards your life path, focus on loving yourself and things like that, and all the other stuff will come, you know. And then here on the other side of this spread, basically with the Scorpio and the moon, I have that there's a difficult decision some of you guys are going to have to make. But for some of you guys, whenever you do finally make this decision, you got to charge forward. You got to take the initiative. You got to be the one to make it happen. I feel like for a lot of you guys too, there's some type of like creative spark, or, you know, something inside of you, but right now it's being dimmed. Like you don't really have any good ideas of how to get out of what you're doing, you know. But you have to be the one to charge forward and make something happen for yourself. And I think that this thing is going to be shadow work, and the tough decision is going to be to actually work on it, you know. So you have to really accept the negative parts of yourself and recognize that they're okay, and they will eventually feel okay too. I'll give you an example from myself. When I was in high school, I was very self-righteous. I thought that I was always right. If I didn't like somebody because they did something bad, I thought that everybody else shouldn't like them either. And all it did was make me consistently be isolated, because I was creating ultimatums for my friends and didn't realize it. I thought I was just being just. I was like, I'm right, you know? And to recognize to myself that I was doing that to myself was so painful. It was not something I could recognize for a long time. The idea of it used to make me cry all the time. Like I'd be all like, why aren't I making friends? Why aren't people being around me, you know? And then I'd be like, why can't people recognize that like I'm right, you know, and stuff like that. And eventually over time I started to recognize when I am the problem. And then accepting that you are the problem sometimes opens yourself up so much. It opens yourself up to criticism, because people will always criticize you. It opens yourself up to acceptance, which creates more love for yourself. And then it creates more loving relationships in your life, because people see you for what you truly are. They don't see you for the negativities. They don't see you for your insecurities. They see you for your true self, because you see your true self and you love yourself, you know? So that'll be something for a lot of you guys to really get into and really like start embracing, you know. And if there's anybody in your life who's making you feel less than, stop putting energy into that person. If it's a family member, yeah, you can still talk to them, you can still visit them. If they need money, you can help them, or they can help you. But stop putting physical energy constantly into pleasing them, you know. If somebody exits your life because you're not like tripping over yourself trying to lay down a red carpet everywhere they walk, then that person is better off not in your life, because they're holding you back, you know? So that's just something to think about during this full moon in Pisces time. So let's get our rituals all prepared. Let's do our thing. Check my blog later if you want some blog or some journal prompts. And I will see you guys next time. You know, try to stay as hydrated as possible. And pay attention to your dreams as well, because Pisces are very in tune to the intuitive, to where like they have dreams that are very vivid. They have premonitions, so it's possible you will be having very vivid dreams as well. So just kind of like pay attention to them. Don't immediately assume it's a premonition, but allow yourself to be open to the idea that your intuition is communicating to you through your dreams. Okay. All right. I will see you guys next time. Bye.